So when we're adding and subtracting, this is just combining like terms. So don't be trying to incorporate a bunch of other fancy rules. It's just combining like terms. So like terms, same variables, and the same exponents. So if there's a plus in the middle, all we're doing is putting our x's together and our y's together in this first one. So 5x, 2x adds up to be what? 7x. And then I'm going to put my y's together. Negative y, which would be the same as negative 1y, and positive 4, so plus 3y. Bigger number wins. Okay, so we're adding and subtracting. That's it. Walk away.
Wow, I'm glad. Because my answer
You were getting,
here.
you were thinking of multiplication probably.
Yep.
And then we have one here where there's been a mistake, and you're asked to describe the mistake and solve correctly. If I'm asked to solve something correctly, I'm going to first rewrite the original problem and do it myself. If I look at someone else's work, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, it looks good. But maybe then I end up making the same mistake. So instead, I'm just going to come over, do it myself, and see where my work looks different than their work. So if it is subtraction, we want to change the middle sign to add, and then change all the signs in the second set. So this would change to negative, this changes to plus, that changes to negative. And then it becomes addition. So then I've got, there's one, these two are both cubes, so I've got 8 and 4 makes 12k cubed. Then I'd have my negative 8k squared. Then I've got the 8k and the negative 3k. And then that's everybody. Now, they did a lot of rewriting, like putting things together by rewriting it, which of course you can, but that seems like extra work to me. So now I'm going to look and see where do things kind of look different. So in step 1, they got rid of their parentheses. Looks like they changed this to plus, but my 3k, our 3k is negative, and they made that plus. So then the mistake would be they didn't change the sign on the 3k. And then correct answer, of course, I've already done. Now, please do not look and like, oh, and then on step 2, this is wrong. No, it's just like the first time you find a mistake. Of course, the rest of theirs isn't going to match yours because something's already wrong. By the way, you do not have one on your quiz that you have to find someone else's mistake. So. Darn. You like pointing out other people's mistakes, right?
We got some word problems?
No hating. Don't be haters. Don't be haters.
We hate them hard.
My poor misunderstood math. Always people hating on it all the time.
You hate no reason.
So this is subtraction. So we're going to change the sign in the middle and then change all the signs that follow. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. And then just combine like terms. I do want these in descending order, highest exponent to lowest. So highest exponent here, that would be our third power. So 3x cubed and another x cubed makes 4x cubed. 7x and 2x, 9x. And then negative 6 and negative 3, negative 9. Agree? Mm-hmm. Some of you some of you worked all the way through this yesterday, so hopefully you're just going through and checking your answers and maybe making some notes if there's something you need to remember. If you did work through it yesterday, I do expect that, like you can erase and change things. Please don't feel, you're not cheating. There's the reason we're going through this together. So, in number 4, even though it's on the add and subtract page, you do have a multiply step because we have this. You kind of have a choice. You could change all the signs first. Personally, I would just do this by taking -5 times everything. If I distribute that as a negative, that's going to take care of that. So this would be -10r squared plus 5r to the 4th plus 10r. So notice how the signs did end up changing from what they had been. The 8r squared and the -4r are just going to come down. So I can now put things together. So highest exponent is that 5r to the 4th. I don't have any r to the 3rds. Then I go on, I see 8r squared and -10r squared. So -2r squared. Then I'm moving on to just r's. -4, +10, plus 6r. Done. And then this next one is another select all that apply, so you should expect there's more than one of those multiple choice that is the same. So it's just add in the middle, so I don't need to change signs. I just go straight to putting my like terms together. So I have some C's, so 5 and -3, 2C, -2 and +3. That's plus 1D or just D. So 2C plus D, there's exactly what I see. Would that be the same as 2C minus D?
No.
No. Would it be the same? It's definitely not the same as something that says 5D. And then D, we have a negative sign. No. And then this is just basically switch the order.
So B and E?
B and E. So addition, we can switch the order. They're both, as long as they're both still positive.
I didn't get
Well, you'll be happy to know there's not one like that on the quiz. Not where you have to select all that apply. Mandy's going to help you out, though.
She said there's like 2 different things that are going to go in the quiz.
I said that from the beginning that the review is longer than the quiz itself. There aren't as many questions on the actual quiz. But each of the questions you have, things are going to be in sections that say like multiply, divide, add, subtract, so you would know which page potentially you would see something similar. We use this rule some on the first page, I'm sorry. So if it says multiply, we're actually multiplying coefficients, those are the big numbers, of course, and adding exponents that are on the same variable, same base. So here for number 1, 4 times 2 is 8, and then I have my x, and then 7 plus 2 is 9.
That's all you had to do.
That's it. So it's 4 times the 2, and then 7, like I'm adding the exponents. That's kind of what's going on, probably just in your head, but like, I'll put think, this is what you're thinking there. So in number 2, is it multiplication? Not exactly right. Not the way it's written right now. So there's an exponent on the outside. You could rewrite it and treat it like multiplication. But when there's an exponent on the outside, we talked about this on the front page too. Raise the coefficient to the power. So remember, that's when we use this button on the calculator if we don't know it off the top. And multiply the exponents.
That little arrow is the button on the calculator.
Mm-hmm. So 4 to the second is 16. And then each exponent gets multiplied separately. Remember, if something doesn't have an exponent, it's understood that it's starting out with a 1 for the exponent. So then S, 1 times 2, 2, T, 5 times 2, 10. So you might just write that down as we just said it, but like what's going on, 4 to the second. Like if I grabbed the calculator, that's what I would do. Like maybe what if it was a number you didn't know off the top. And then the S, we're doing 1 times 2. And the T, I'm doing 5 times 2. So you don't need to write some of this stuff down if you like know what to do already. And you're just like, yeah, I did that yesterday. I'm good. If you're like, I don't know if I'm going to remember why she has a 2 there, then maybe you want to write down S and then put 1 times 2. And then number 3 is division. And again, we did this on the front page too. We just have more than one variable now. So divide or reduce the coefficients. And then subtract exponents. But we need to leave the variable where the highest power is. So that's like our, like who wins the war, top or bottom kind of thing. So 20 divided by 5, that's 4. That's going to be on the top, correct? Because 20 was bigger. Where's the higher power of B?
Bottom.
The bottom. By how many? So 4 take away 2 gives us 2. Where's the higher power of C?
Bottom.
Also in bottom. 8 take away 6, also 2. It could turn out one's on top, one's on bottom. They can both be on the bottom. But we're putting them, leaving the variable where the higher exponent was. If everything turns out to be on the top, then it doesn't need to be written as a fraction anymore. Using the same rule as we did for number 3. So what did you get when you divided?
7.
When you divide it, you got 7. Good. And is that on the top or the bottom?
Top.
Good. And then what about with our...
Cube.
And is the x cubed on the top or on the bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom. Exactly.
Alright, so go ahead.
Woohoo! And then here we have just, this one is going to follow that multiplication rule. Remember the dot means multiply. So 2 times the 5, 10, and then add the exponents.
10.
10 times to the 10.
Good, good.
8.
So remember the variables, those exponents on the variables and the coefficients are not going to behave the same. So 2 times, if you're pretty sure, like, I know I got to do 2 times 5, then you're not also doing 6 times 4, because they don't behave the same. And then 6 is back to being like 3 and 4. So 24 divided by 6. Remember, not subtract. Divide those big numbers. What's 24 divided by 6?
4.
Where's the higher power of the m?
Top.
On the top. By how many? 7, because remember this counts as 1. And then what about the c's?
Top.
Top. By how many? 1. And everything ends up being on the top. So it's not a fraction anymore.
So it would be D.
So it would be D, yes. And you could write that one, but it is the same thing as if I don't see an exponent at all. So division, divide the numbers, or if they don't divide, try to reduce, subtract exponent.